See, once again, people respect the power that they see. All right? When you should really respect the power that you don't see. Because you don't see Yahweh. Although, if you really had this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you see him in everything that is. Because he is. Once again, and it goes back to that whole thing. All right? But people respect the power that they see. But the power that they don't see is who should be respected and who should be followed and who should be hearkened unto. All right. So what I say, the power said there's a purpose for his will and what he do. All right. There's a purpose for what he do. He do what he want to do, but it's good. It's ultimately righteous. There's a means to an end. All right. So don't reply. All right. Just roll with it. It says who replied against his will. All right. Because it's going to happen anyway. But just roll with it and trust in the Most High power that he is righteous. All right. He is righteous. All right. You know, but there is a purpose now that this present evil world is what it is today. It's evil. All people, the kids die and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? All right. It was a necessary evil. All right. This wicked, he says, I create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. All right. But it's ultimately to get to righteousness. It's ultimately to get to the kingdom. But we couldn't get to the kingdom unless we went through this, because those that's going to rule in that kingdom, they had to be purified and perfected. They couldn't be purified and perfected unless they went through the experiences of knowing all things, even wickedness. You can't know wickedness unless you delve into it, touch it, do it yourself. Then you experienced it. I've done it. Okay, I know of it. And you know what? I'm good. That was hot. It burned my ass. I'm good. I'm good on doing something that he told me not to do. He told me don't touch that because that is hot. All right. He told me don't do that because that has a consequence of this. Oh, he told me don't do that because that has a consequence of that. So it's wise that I don't do that. But we had to go through it and do it to learn like, oh shit, he was right. That was hot. Burned my ass. All right, up that right there, that could have the consequences of hurting me that way. Don't want to do that. Ultimately, I don't want to die. So if I don't want to die, I want to roll with the instructions of the Most High God, the highest. It's simple. Rolling with the power. All right? But what in this world do? They put the woman over the man. All right? They put the weaker, all right, over the stronger. They put the dummies over the intelligent ones. All right. But again, all part of the will of the Father, because wickedness, weakness, all that had to have its time. So I'm going to play this video. And it's a little loud, you know, little noisy in the background a tad. So I hope that you can hear through all that. But here goes. It's about. The first one is 4 minutes, the second one is 2 minutes, so 6 minutes altogether, and I may stop it. Wickedness has its time. Righteousness has its eternity. Woo! See, wickedness has its time, all right? But righteousness has its eternity. All right. But for the righteous to rule in eternity, they had to go through the wickedness. All right. They had to deal with it, touch it, you know, be a little wicked theyself. All right. But forsake wickedness and return to righteousness. Forsake this present evil world and be kingdom minded. All right. Forsake the flesh and be spiritual minded, because the Most High is a spirit and we must worship him in spirit and in truth. All right. And roll with what he say. He's the highest. He's the most powerful. Let's go. But it had to be both. It had to be both. That's the balance. The balance of wisdom. It's the balance of wisdom.
It's a balance. It is wisdom. It is so simple, yet deep. That's the balance. And he only gives his wisdom to a few. Because that's also balance. Because the opposite of few is many. Many gonna go into destruction. A few gonna come into life. A few, the elect. The Israelites of all the nations. A few. So there's a few that was gonna rule in the next life. In that interest, I believe. You know, he said, made this world for many, I believe, for the next few, and that's for the Israelites.
Right. He had made this world for many, all right, but the next world for few, all right. See, many different nations and many different ways of darkness, all right, ruled in this present evil world and was prevalent in this present evil world. But it's the few, which are the Israelites, all right, who's going to rule in the next one, all right? It's not going to be a whole bunch of different ways. It's going to be one way that's going to rule, and it's going to be the way of the highest, which he's going to cause us, the chosen children, the Israelites. He's going to cause us to be those gods. He's going to cause us to be perfect. He's going to cause us to rule perfectly, all right? And we're going to rule with his perfect way. Okay, no other way. See, this present evil world had all manner of ways. Look at all the different religions, all the different philosophies, all right? All the different ways of living and cultures and all that stuff, all right? All the different ways of man, all right? See, but there is one way of life, all right? Just like many ways to die. You can die in many ways, all right? But one way to live and live eternally, okay? And that's following the ways of an immortal, the Most High God, the highest. And he's going to cause us to do that, and we're going to rule with those ways.
It'll be for many in all these different nations ruling their way. That was this kingdom. That was in opposition of the way of righteousness.
Yep.
The way.
Yep, and that's why this present evil world is, like it says in Psalms 82, the ways of this earth are out of course. All right, for righteousness' sake, is out of course. All right, if it was going to be perfect and righteous, all right, and healthy and fun and beautiful and peace and no wars and just beautiful, all right, if it was going to be like that, then it would have to be ran with that one way, the way of the Most High God, the pure wisdom from above. See, but if it's tainted with any way of man, what is it? There go the neighborhood. All right, there go the earth. There go the world. All right, little leaven at the whole lump. It's corrupted now. All right. But this present evil world was ran with all manner of ways of man. Okay. See, we're talking about the way of the Most High God. That's what we want.
Of the Most High God. They was about the opposite. Wickedness. You know, and whatever part of wickedness it was, from the balance of the worst wicked being Edom, Esau at the end of the totem pole, or these other nations that come in that balance of progression and retrogression. So yeah, retrogression, you know, it's those other nations, you know, and you have it in all manner of ways, near and wide.
And what I mean by that, you have that in all manner of ways, near and wide, of the balance of the Most High God, and that progression and then retrogression, because near and wide. So here it is, you have it in the whole grand scheme of things of, you have the righteous nation, all right, and the, you know, if it's like this, you have the highest, the most righteous, the best, the good, And then you have the worst, the lowest, the base, the weakest, the wickedest. All right. So you have the Most High God, Yahweh, then Yahweh Shai, you know, then, the Israelites, all right, then this nation, then that nation, then that nation, then that nation, that nation, that nation, all the way down to Esau, Edom, the wicked. All right. But then you could do the same thing within the nation of Israel itself. All right. Which you know that you have the Most High God, Yahweh. All right. Then you have Yahweh Shai. Then you have King David. Then you have the rest of the 12. Then you have the rest of the 144. Then you have the rest of the 1/3. And then once you get to that last person that just made it of the 1/3, then it starts to retrogress. All right. From the top of the 2/3 all the way down to the worst 2/3. All right. Which are the worst of the 2/3 are those that's claiming to be teachers and leading those into a ditch. All right. It says that they're going to be held with the higher condemnation. All right. But the point is that, that balance is always somebody, better than somebody else. All right. And it's always somebody worse. And it always get down to, that bottom, flat bottom, and then all the way to the opposite, or all the way up to the opposite, where it gets to the strongest. It gets to the wisest. All right. And it don't get no more stronger than Yahweh. It don't get no more wiser than Yahweh. It don't get no more stronger than that. That's the spirit. The spirit. Spiritual power is more powerful than fleshly power. Okay. And so, in the balance of the wisdom of the Most High God, you got all of it. It's a balance, the opposite. You got the rank and file. Okay. It's that the Israelites are closest to that righteousness. And that's why they're the chosen. Okay. But let's continue on. And I hope I'm making sense.
There's another balance. It's all about that balance of the Most High God, man. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And the good is always going to prevail. It says, in that wisdom, in that Sirach, matter of fact, if I can get it real quick, in that Sirach 40.
Well, I'm getting at, let all things be done decently and in order. That's what the Most High say. So that's what he do too. Right? He provide a balance, a rank and file order.
All things are double one against another, and he hath made nothing imperfect. One thing establisheth the good of another, and who shall be filled with beholding his glory? Man, it's amazing. All things are double, and we're the righteous.
Right? And we're the righteous, man. And, we're at the top, those Israelites, man. All right? The children of the Most High God. All right? One last one, and then I'll hit some final scriptures and be done.
If wickedness is getting its part, then so is weakness getting its part. All the lesser, all the weaker, all the wickeder, all the, the bad, it's getting its part right now. And the bad only gets a little bit of time, and so thing is, you have to wait for the good now, and endure the bad. But accept that the bad is bad, and you can't be about it. And you try your best to fight against it, and don't really be about it. You don't have your mind on it, but hey, you had to touch it, you had to deal with it, and you're in it right now. But you understand that, I don't like it. I'm not with it. Please, Lord, help me. All that. Because that's that balance. It gets its time. And that's the weak. And that's why I was going to even go further and say if it's the wicked time, It's if it's the weak time. It says that the woman is the weaker nature. So they're putting them in power and empowering women over men. They're empowering wickedness over righteousness. They're empowering weakness over stronger. Because they don't get no more stronger than the Most High God, Yahweh, and what He say. That's wisdom. That's wisdom.
Yep, to roll with the power. All right, and I actually went on for a couple more minutes. It cut off because I ain't even realized that it cut off. I was just going. I looked like, oh man, I ran out of space. But yeah, that that's the wisdom of the Most High God, man, and that perfect balance, and that all things gets its time. All right, to be established as something, but ultimately righteousness prevails. The good prevails. The truth prevails. See, in this present evil world, lies prevail. Death prevails. Weakness prevails. Sickness prevails. War prevails. All right? In the kingdom to come, the opposite is going to prevail. Righteousness is going to prevail. Peace is going to prevail. Health is going to prevail. Fun is going to prevail. All right? So that's why you can't be an accomplice with this world. See, if you're trying to live your best life, then you love the weak. You love the death. All right? You love the dirty. You love the wicked. All right? That has its time, but it's only for a moment. All right? It's only for a moment. Let me see if I can get that real quick. Yep. This is Job chapter 20, verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed on the earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? It says, though his excellency mount up to the heavens and his head reach to the clouds, yet shall he perish forever like his own dung. All right? Because wickedness, the Most High God, He's a righteous power. All right? See, He's not going to have this present evil world where wickedness and death and dirty and, filthy and everything opposition to His righteousness is prevailing. He's not a wicked power. He's a righteous power. All right? So He had to have this just for things to be established. And then in the kingdom, you'd be like, all right, you remember that y'all used to run it with flesh, y'all way? Remember that? Now look how it's going. All right? To let you know that, hey, fear the Lord. That's the beginning of wisdom. All right? To fear the power. To fear the one that's wisest. All right? Fear the one that's wisest, to obey and do what He say, because if you don't do what He say, you do it some other way, there's a consequence. And ultimately the consequence is death. So if you don't want to roll with the way of the Father, that's what we talking about here at Great Millstone. All right, from the apostles of Great Millstone on down, we talking about the will of the Father happening, man, in righteousness. And we saying that, we trying to be there too, because right now we ain't there. We fall. It says a just man falleth 7 times, but get back up again. All right? We want to be perfect too, but we not that now, but we strive for it. We rehearse the righteous acts, do the best we can. But it's all about the mind. And not being about this present evil world, not being accomplice to death, not being accomplice to weakness, not being accomplice to the temporal. All right? Not being accomplice to the insane. Not being accomplice to the flesh. Not being accomplice to man's way. All right? See, now we about the spirit. We about the Most High's way. All right? We're about the eternal. All right? We're about the stronger. We're about the sane. We're about the clean. That's what we about. All right? And while we here, we got to wait. All right? And while we wait, we might as well learn and grow in the spirit. Get better. All right? Do better. And I'm cutting myself because I need to do better. In so many ways. All right? And so This is what it's all about, man. It's really, hastening and begging the Lord to hasten that day and being kingdom minded. Okay. Last few scriptures. This is Ecclesiastes 10 and 7, because it says that the earth is out of course right now because it's being ran. All right. It's being ran with the ways of in opposition to the Most High's righteousness and what He say morality is. Okay. This is Ecclesiastes, because in that Psalms I read 82, it says that the foundations of the earth are out of course. Now right here in Ecclesiastes 10 and 7, it says, I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Princes supposed to be on horses. Servants are supposed to be walking as servants. All right. But right now, since the world is out of course, everything is backwards. Well, princes, royalty is walking as servants on the earth, and servants are ruling. They're on the horse. Which represents power. You're in power. All right. Everything is backwards. So since the servants are on the horse and in power, all right, they're ruling with dirty, unrighteousness, insane. All right. They're ruling with flesh, man's ways. All right. And then they throw in some, because he's that devil and he's subtle. All right. He throw in some good tenets in there to fool you to think that the dirty is actually clean and the good is, they want to make you think the bad is actually good and the good is actually bad. This is what they do. They're those wolves in sheep's clothing. All right. And they have the power right now. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So they have the power to do so, to fool you. Okay. See, but those who's telling the truth, speaking the truth, living the truth to the best of their ability, those that's of this world, they're going to look at us like we fools, we crazy. But that has to happen because we're talking about another world. See, they about this world. They trying to live their best life now. They about this world. See, but we about a world to come, which the world to come can't come unless this place is going to be destroyed. So the place that the people love, we talking about it being destroyed. So of course they going to hate us. All right. So of course they going to hate us. We talking about the place that they love, all right, being destroyed. See, we talking about life. See, they love death. We saying death is going to be cast into the lake of fire. But if you love death and you want to do as I will, you want to do man's way and do how you want to do it, you know what I'm saying? And we talking against that. See, we talking about going according to the ways of the Most High God, the highest. All right? And then people that's of this world, they don't like that. They'll look at us and like, all right, well, who made you this or that? Who made you that? And who had it? You'll see. Things are backward ass. But check it out. This Wisdom of Solomon, it says this. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 6, verse 24. But in the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world, and a wise king is the upholding of the people. All right? The beginning of being wise is to fear the highest and to roll with the highest and his way and his plan and his righteousness and what he say do and don't do. All right. And what he say you got to go through to get what you're going to get. It's all perfect. You got to be purified and perfected. No pain, no gain. You got to go through it first. That's going to purify and perfect you into the righteous rulers, judges, and gods and kings that you're going to be. All right. But we have to accept the pain first, the tribulation first. We have to go through the wicked first, not succumb to it. Understand what it is, forsake it, and then you want righteousness. All right. But it says, but in the multitude of the wise is the welfare of the world. If you want the welfare of the world, All right, then you would want the wise to be ruling. If you want the wise to be ruling, we know that that's not going to come until this place is destroyed. So then you would want this place to be destroyed. And if you want it to be destroyed and you know that the fire going to come, what manner of persons ought ye to be? In all holy conversation and godliness and rehearsing the righteous acts, and not only being a hearer but a doer of the word. To the best of your ability. All right, and the lot that was given each and every individual of the elect. Okay? Because in a world like this, where it's evil, this is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach chapter 10 and 1. A wise judge will instruct his people. Instruct them with the right instructions. The instructions of the wisest. The instruction of the most powerful. The instruction, all right, of the highest. All right? Not instructions of the weaker. All right? Instructions of the dirty. Instructions of the wicked. Instructions in the way to die. Nah. Instructions in the only way to live. Live and truly live. And it be well with you. And you have fun. All right? Even the people that we rule over. All right? After, of course, their punishment and everything that they have to go through. But, you know, and then the wicked nation is eradicated. And then the wise kings, the Israelites are ruling. When we rule wisely with the ways of the Most High God, those that we rule over, they're going to be happy. All right? Because they have a power that's ruling over them, that's righteous. That's fair. That's equitable. That's wise. All right? That's ruling with the way of wisdom so this world could be a paradise. Truly. Truly serene. Wonderfully wonderful and great. Because look at it now with the ways of man and this would feel good to me. So this is what I think. And this would see? But look. All right? Carrying on, verse 2 in that Sirach chapter 10, verse 2. Matter of fact, verse 1 again. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of a city is, so are all they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroyeth his people. Look at the way of the world right now. Are the people that's being ruled over happy and, you know, they fine and cool, and or are they being destroyed right now? Are there bums, unhealthy people, sickness, disease? All right. See, when King Solomon was ruling wisely, when Bathsheba came, she thought some of the servants was Solomon. She thought some of the servants was Solomon. So he was a wise king. He was he was a prudent man, and everything was well ordered. All right. And as the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of a city is, so are they that dwell therein. Those that dwell therein with King Solomon, Bathsheba was like, oh, king. Huh? You a servant? Damn. Well, shit. I wonder what the king looked like. Shit, if you look. This got to be the king. Oh, king. You a servant too. Well, shit. Well, let's get to see this king. And then just fall out from the king. You fall out from the king, Jack. This is what's about to happen. This is what we're talking about, man. Everybody being cool, man. Everybody being well ordered. Justice. Judgment. Perfection. The balance, the wisdom of the Most High God, man. If you can't get with that, you insane. You dirty. You filthy. You out your mind. All right? This is what we're talking about, man. Things being well ordered, man. All right? An unwise king destroyeth his people. All right? But through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right. And so that righteous kingdom that we talked about in the beginning in Luke, and how Yahushua is going to have a kingdom with no end. And that's the same portion for the Israelites. All right. And the thing is, it's an order, a rank and file. All right. A perfect balance. All right. It's going to be beautiful, man. This is what we're talking about, man. The kingdom of heaven, man.